Please tell me your name.
So Shivani Das.
Full letter. My name is Shivani Das. Okay. Please tell me your roll number.
318503.
Okay. So this is your second interview. We'll be discussing about your optional subjects. Right? So what are your optionals for this exam?
So first optional is sociology and second is geography.
Sociology. So let us start with sociology. Tell me something about Durkheim's contribution to sociology, and whom does he basically hold responsible for the suicide of a person? Agudenza about the sitting position ta class corruption hathata the body language terms re and this is like you need the like assistance, okay, help support sign of nervousness.
सर एटा गोटे रीजन अच्छे एक्चुअली मो हाथ बहुत माने ये करके कॉर्पोरेटर कहूली तो टिके रेस्ट्रिक्ट करछे हाथ को माने नहले हाथ फ्री हे गले मो एमती एमती करि देबे टिके
माने सेटा पई ताकू नीज ओके नीज रखि कि लॉक करिवे नीज रखि कि ओके तो एमती रखि देले तो आपको नीज देबे रहला ओके तो आपको किछि प्रॉब्लम होबनी बट एटा एमती की एमती रखिले सेटा टिके बॉडी लैंग्वेज ये रे हमें मे बी से नोटिस न करि करंती जे तो आपको पूरा सब एस्पेक्ट होके पड़ियो तो आपको नीज ऊपर रखिबे दैट विल बी द बेस्ट ओके सो tell me something about Durkheim's contribution and whom does he hold responsible for suicide of a person?
Emile Durkheim was a functionalist in sociology. His basic concept is seeing the functions of the society. The first contribution I will say it's a suicide concept. So as per him, he has done many surveys in different countries and cities, and he found that in those society where there are the persons are cut off from the society, or when there is civil war, or in case of divorcee, in such situations the suicide rate is more. And also when there is economic boom or economic low, these are the observations by Durkheim when the suicide rates are high. And so second part of the question, second part of the question I'm not able to recall.
Whom does he hold responsible for suicide of a person?
So he holds responsible to society. He says that society is the problematic, this is the actual cause for which a person commits suicide.
So, what are the types of suicide that he mentioned?
Altruistic suicide, animistic, egoistic. So I'm not able to recall the fourth one.
Okay. And what are these basically? Can you explain them in one sentence?
So, suicide, as he considers suicide to as the society is the reason, so each and every term he denotes a specific reason for suicide in these by these altruistic suicide and the other terms.
Okay. What about Merton? Tell me something about Merton's contribution to sociology.
So the Merton's contribution to sociology is the first contribution is reference variable. The reference principle, he always says that a person needs a reference group to improve his or her productivity and to know his ambitions and aspirations of life. So first is the reference, and so other I'm not able to recall.
Okay. What do you mean by latent functions?
So these are the two functions, latent and manifest functions. Latent function is the one which we can see. like which is there and we can see directly, and manifest function. So let me just take a moment. So I have told the opposite, I take it back. So manifest function is the function which we directly see what the change is going on, and latent function is the one which is beyond our observation. It is something that is there but we cannot see right now, but a sociologist can rightly see beyond one barrier or one observation.
Okay. Fine. So tell me something about social stratification, okay, and how a class is different from a caste.
So coming to the first part of the question, social stratification, this is a term to denote a person or a group or a social group in a social hierarchy in terms of relative position in respect of prestige, power and wealth. So this is social stratification. And so second part of the question, so second part of the question, can you please?
The second part, basically I asked you about caste and class.
So caste and class, caste is a closed group, I will say, and class is an open group, and caste is I will say it is ascribed, like by birth it is assigned, and class is achieved oriented, achieved oriented. And so thirdly, in class there is the devotion comes into picture. The social status is based upon the rituals. Basically it is formed on social rituals and cultures and different thing, and class it is about so it is not about rituals, or it is more open and achieved oriented.
What do you think are the reasons for which your institution of marriage, okay, is undergoing a lot of changes, especially in countries like India?
So marriage in sociology is a social institution which is legally permitted by society for two individuals to stay together. So today there is a lot of changes in marriage laws and regulations. Like now there is a concept called self-respect marriage, especially in the south area, where a priest is not required to for the marriage ceremonies, and it is held in a modern style. So this is one. And so secondly, marriage is now seen as a equal partnership rather than a submissive of women by men that was held earlier. Now both are at equal co-partners. So these are certain changes which is going on in society nowadays.
Okay. What do you mean by Sanskritization, and how it is different from modernization? If you can give some example and clearly show the difference between Sanskritization and modernization.
So Sanskritization is a process where a member from lower caste or lower class is he or she adopts or imitates the person of twice born Dvija caste, then that will be called as Sanskritization. And modernization, as we see today, what are the changes going on, like from generation to generation, what we see today is basically modernization. And so Sanskritization, one example I will say that the sutras, they take they follow Brahmins and apply tilak, and next they try to conduct marriages as per Brahmins principles. So these are certain things which are held in Sanskritization. And in modernization, like in modernization, the car example, if we buy a new car, then that is a modernized product, but we do tilak ceremony, and that we just amalgamate it along with modernity. So these are the basic principles that differentiates between the two.
Okay. So what is class in caste and what is caste in class? Class in caste and caste in class.
So first part, I will say the caste in class. This is a Marxist concept, and the caste is we can say the caste as a subunit of class, because caste comes under class. And so the second part I cannot recall and I cannot explain properly. I have to read on it.
Okay. So what are the major functions of religion?
So there are myriads of functions of a religion. The first function is the fulfilling the emotional needs of the people. There are certain questions like about our birth, our death. So these cannot be dealt by science but by a religion. This is first. And so second, it also fulfills our day-to-day pain and weaknesses that we have. It is a kind of booster that provides us to lead a good life. So these are the two reasons that right now come to my mind.
Okay, fine. Can you tell me which one is better according to you, with reasons? Tell me. That is your number one, that is your joint family system, and second is the nuclear family. And at least give me two advantages and disadvantages of both.
These are two types of family system that is prevailing. So nuclear system is a family where one generation stays, like two parents and their children, the immediate children stays in one place, that is nuclear family. And joint family, when there is more than one generation, it is called joint family. It is also called extended family. And so function of a nuclear family is it is more important from economic perspective, as they are away from their grandparents, and they stay alone and they take care of the economic perspective. And joint family, so there is positive and negative aspect of it. The positive aspect is that if there are more number of children, or if there is economic security in joint family, as one can depend on other members for financial and security. And the negative aspect of joint family is in a joint family, the women are considered, women are given a glass barrier, I'll say glass ceiling to them, they stay at home because there is no need of finance and security that is needed for to be earned by a woman if she is from a nuclear family. So these are certain functions.
Okay. Your other option is geography.
Yes, sir.
So let us come to geography then. Tell me something about determinism and possibilism.
So determinism and possibilism are both environmentalism concept of geography. Determinism is a process where environment plays an important role in defining the human lives, and possibilism is a process where human plays an important role to define the environment and adopts and changes the environment as per its needs. So these are the basic difference between both.
Okay. So, have you heard about various theories of migration? Can you tell me something about Ravenstein's theory?
Sir, right now I will not be able. I will read on it, sir.
Okay, fine. Which is your strongest portion in geography? Favorite and strongest? Physical or Indian geography or human geography?
So physical geography.
Physical geography. Tell me the various discontinuities that we find in the interior of the earth. Okay. Major and minor both.
Discontinuities are in terms of.
Discontinuities like your, let's say, Moho or Mohovisic discontinuity. Okay, Gutenberg's discontinuity in that.
So like discontinuity we can see in various physical features like the mountains.
No, not that.
Okay.
Interior of the earth. In the interior layers of the earth, between two layers, okay, generally there is some place, okay, where there is a discontinuity. The properties, density of one layer is different from the layer below. So those are basically the discontinuities. So
Yes.
there are some major discontinuities, some minor discontinuities. I'm asking about them.
Sir, I will read on it.
Okay, fine. So, can you tell me something about the body waves and the surface waves, earthquake waves basically?
Yes, sir.
So what are body waves, what are surface waves, and how they help us in knowing the interior of the earth?
So body waves and surface waves are both measured to know the earthquake, and when there is a collision of the rocks within the earth due to any endogenous or exogenous factor, then it emerges from the epicenter, the focus, and the first wave that gets triggered is the body waves that comes to the surface, and once it comes in the surface, it is called surface waves, which are finally measured in our instrument that is measured for earthquake. So next part of the question, can you just please repeat it?
How they help us in knowing the interior of the earth?
So by knowing, we cannot measure the body waves, we can measure the surface waves, by having the knowledge from the seismograph, the surface waves, then we can measure the intensity by which the earthquake is going to strike that area, and we can evacuate the people accordingly and can take necessary disastrous actions beforehand.
Okay, what is the difference between the Mercalli scale and the Richter scale?
So right now I'm not able to recall the exact difference. I will read on it, sir.
Okay, fine. You have heard the term rejuvenation.
Yes, sir.
Please explain what is rejuvenation.
So rejuvenation is a geographic term to indicate the river which come fresh out of. Can I take a moment?
Yes.
So rejuvenation occurs when there is denudation in the river valleys and there is fresh flow of water in another layer. Then it is when it is layered and fresh water comes out in flues, then it is called rejuvenation, sir.
Okay. So can you tell me the summary, just the summary of Davies and Penck's theory?
So I will have to read on it.
Okay. Do you know what is watershed?
Yes, sir.
Please tell me what is a watershed. What is a watershed?
So watershed is a river water management system where different rivers flow into a common channel to meet a larger water body.
Okay. So what is the importance of watershed management and how, what are the basic principles of watershed management?
So watershed management, sir, can you please repeat the question once?
Yeah, watershed management, what is the importance and the principles of watershed management?
So the importance of the watershed management is to save every drop of water on earth which can be utilized for good purpose. So there are different techniques and principles lying behind watershed management, like there is saving of rainwater in some reservoir or in rainwater harvesting, or there can be bunds and canals that can be formed in hilly areas. So these are the certain things that can be carried out for a watershed management which will be helpful for human lives.
Okay. So can you tell me something about the bottom topography of Indian Ocean?
Yes, sir. So the bottom topography of Indian Ocean consists of various features like there are certain trenches, gyots, and there are also the sea floor is embedded with. Sir, I'm not able to recall the terms. I will read on it, sir.
Okay. Tell me something about Rostow's growth model and
Sir.
at least one or two features of each of the stages. Okay.
So Rostow's growth model is this is a path from a lower level to a higher level. So I will read on it. I'm not able to recall it.
Okay, fine. No issue. Okay. So in Odisha and Chhattisgarh are having some issues over the Mahanadi river. Okay. So lot of the water of the Mahanadi river that goes as run out. Okay. So can you suggest some steps so that the water which goes into the sea, okay, that we can preserve and use it?
Yes, sir. As Mahanadi river is perennial, and but we need to save the water. So we can take certain steps, like we can utilize the water by making certain like reservoirs. Hirakud reservoir is already there, but there needs to be certain catchment areas as well, which will store the additional water. And so the technology should come into picture, and we should use technology and modern techniques to utilize the water prudently and channelize the water into agriculture directly, or we can also channelize the water for harvesting purpose. So these are the certain measures we can take to protect or save the Mahanadi river water.
Okay. Fine. So that will be the end of the interview. Thank you. Feedback है आपका eye contact का बहुत निर्भर करती है. Eye contact must be 100%. से कहते कि mirror interview में practice करेंगे. Image का okay अपना image का eye को पूरा देखिए. Second number one. Second है ला optionals में ठीक है. क्या ना बहुत ज़्यादा traditional interview हो चुका है. They are dividing into your home district, your Baravita based questions and optionals also. कि जो अगर conversational होची on their work experience etc. तेणु आपणकर भी work experience अच्छी but still then ठीक है brush up further ये सब जिनिस वाला ठीक है our eye contact का mainly वाला तो बाकी flow of speech style of delivery से सब ठीक है इतना problem है ये खाली content का optional है sociology more or less okay अच्छी but geography technical aspects का ठीक है वो सारी देखिए okay